Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to look at the global stats on the Elephant Money platform. I'm going to talk about what they mean, and more importantly, I'm going to show you how to use them as tools to evaluate the health of the ecosystem. After this video, you'll be able to go to the Elephant Money website, look at the stats, and instantly understand at a very high level how the platform is performing. The implication of this video is a deep understanding of the sustainability of Elephant Money, and there will be a little math involved, but nothing that should be too difficult to understand. If you do need a little more help, feel free to jump in my Telegram group and ask me any questions you like. I got a great video for you guys, so stay tuned. This is Into Crypto, a channel I started to share my journey into decentralized finance. Here you will get to see weekly videos of an average Joe investor, myself, start with a minimal amount of capital and attempt to make it big in the crypto space. I will show you everything that happens in my portfolio with full transparency, no matter how bad it may get. I should mention I am not a financial advisor, and all my content is intended for entertainment and education only. You should always do your own research before making any investments. If you would like to join the Into Crypto community, or you just want to learn more about the crypto space, please check out the links below. And while you're down there, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Without further ado, let's get into crypto. The first stats we will talk about are on the stats tab of the Stampede perpetual bonding. Bonds are the total amount of trunk that has been bonded into Stampede. The payouts are the total amount of rewards in trunk that have been paid out to bonders. Elephant BUSD is the amount of money that is in the Elephant BUSD liquidity pool on PancakeSwap. The stability ratio. This is the first stat that deserves some explanation. What does it mean and why is it important? Well, to understand the answers to those questions, you first have to understand what a liquidity pool is. Now, I'm not going to go super deep into that right now because there are already tons of videos on liquidity pools out there. In fact, I put a link for a really good one by Whiteboard Crypto in the description of this video. Liquidity pools are important for a lot of reasons, but there is one fundamental concept that you need to understand about them as it relates to the stability ratio, and that is that liquidity pools always maintain a 50-50 price ratio of both assets, meaning if somebody comes along and buys a bunch of one asset from the liquidity pool, the smart contract algorithm, aka the automated market maker, or AMM for short, changes the price of the asset to ensure the value of the remaining assets still account for 50% of the total pool. If this is confusing to you, you should probably stop and go watch the video that I've linked in the description. To better understand this, let's look at an example. In this example, the liquidity pool has $20, $10 of WBNB and $10 of Elephant. The price of WBNB drops to $8. To account for the drop in price, the AMM sells $1 of Elephant for $1 of WBNB. There is now $9 of Elephant and $9 of WBNB in the liquidity pool, and it has maintained the 50-50 price ratio. The takeaway here is that to maintain the 50-50 price ratio, the AMM had to sell Elephant to buy more WBNB, and just like selling assets on an exchange, the price of Elephant did in fact drop because of that. This example makes it easy to see that if the price of WBNB drops, Elephant will follow. The opposite is also true if WBNB were to rise instead of fall. The automated market maker would sell a little bit of WBNB to buy more Elephant and maintain the 50-50 price ratio. Now let's calculate the stability ratio for ourselves. The stability ratio is calculated by taking the sum of both Elephant liquidity pools and dividing that into the Elephant BUSD liquidity pool. As you can see, our calculation is off by a small amount, but it is reasonable to say that if we had more decimal places, our calculation would be more accurate. To sum up our understanding of the stability ratio, let's do a thought experiment. Now, this could never happen, but let's pretend for a minute that the stability ratio is 100%. This would imply that there are $0 on the WBNB Elephant liquidity pool. If that was the case, any price drop or increase of WBNB would not trigger the buy or sell of Elephant to maintain the 50-50 price ratio. The price of Elephant would be completely independent of the price of WBNB and therefore BNB, and would not follow the price at all. So now you understand the stability ratio. In short, the higher the stability ratio, the less the price of Elephant will follow BNB. Now, like I mentioned before, we will never be able to get the stability ratio to 100%, but we can increase it by bonding trunk, as 50% of all bonded trunk gets added to Elephant BUSD liquidity pool. Now let's move to the stats below. Some of these stats I'm going to go through pretty fast because they're very straightforward. The redemption price is the amount of BUSD you get for one trunk. PancakeSwap LP price is the current price of trunk on PancakeSwap, and Pancake liquidity is the amount of money that is in the trunk BUSD liquidity pool. There are a lot of questions about the collateralization ratio. When this ratio gets to 1, it means that there is enough elephant in the treasury to pay out the 25% redemption value of trunk at 99 cents. Remember, when you redeem trunk, you get paid 75% in BUSD and 25% in elephant. This stat shows how much excess elephant is held in the treasury beyond what is needed to pay the 25% backing trunk. The current stat is around 28. This means there is 28 times more elephant in the treasury than what is needed to pay out all of the elephant that is backing trunk. Now, I will admit that this stat is a little confusing, but for those of you that would like to see how this is calculated, here's the formula. Now, let's calculate the collateralization ratio together. First, take the amount of money in the elephant treasury in USD, divide it by 0.33, and the balance in the cash treasury. As you can see, that gets us very close to the actual collateralization ratio, and our result would be more accurate if more decimal places were given in the stats. For the most part, the rest of the stats are very straightforward, but there is a couple of more things I would like to point out. One is the supply. This is the supply of trunk, and it does take into account all of the trunk that is currently in the trunk BUSD liquidity pool on PancakeSwap. So this trunk is not used in calculations for worst case scenario because that trunk that's in the PancakeSwap liquidity pool cannot be redeemed. Another thing I would like to point out is the rewards. These are the rewards that have been earned from staking. If you have staked trunk, you understand that it's a little tricky to withdraw your money. It's a two-step process. First, you have to withdraw, which moves your deposits into your rewards, and then you have to claim. So when people withdraw their principal, that principal amount actually gets counted as this reward amount. The reason BT did this is for security purposes. In short, this process on the back end is very secure and has been audited multiple times. Now let's use these stats to look at a couple of different scenarios. The first scenario we'll look at is a single day worst case scenario, meaning what if everybody redeemed all of their trunk and claimed all of their earnings in the same day? This is the formula for the single day worst case scenario. We multiply the entire bonded amount times 0.0056 because the elephant treasury will only ever have to pay out 0.56% of the total bonded amount in a single day. But then we add the entire staked balance because all of the staked trunk could potentially be unstaked and redeemed at once. This will give us the single day worst case scenario for a bank run on all trunk. Now that we've seen the formula, let's calculate what would happen in this situation for ourselves. We'll start with multiplying 0.0056 by the total bonded amount, 21.15. And we'll see that the maximum that will be paid out in a single day from bonds is $118,000. Then we come down and we add the staked balance. And we see that the maximum amount of trunk that would be withdrawn in a single day is 16.6 million trunk. Now, since one trunk equals 0.99 BUSD, to get this trunk into dollars, we have to divide by 0.99. Now we can see the most money that would be withdrawn from this ecosystem on a single bank run would be $16.83 million. That is absolutely the maximum amount that could be withdrawn in one day. If we look at the total amount in the elephant treasury and the cash treasury, we see there is $105 million. This means if every investor withdrew and claimed the maximum amount in a single day, there would still be over $90 million left in the reserves. Now let's look and see if the platform has enough money to pay all of its current debts to investors. The current debts are calculated with this formula. It will be the bonds times 205% minus what has already been paid out plus the total staked balance. This is because all of the trunk that is staked can be redeemed and is technically a debt to investors. Now that we've seen the formula for the total debt to investors, let's calculate it for ourselves. We'll start by taking the total bonded amount and multiplying that by 205%. We will then subtract what has already been paid out to investors. and then we will add the amount of staked trunk. As you can see, the current debt to investors is 52.87 million trunk. To get this into BUSD, we would divide by 0.99, and that gives us $53.4 million. If we look at the balance in the elephant treasury and the cash treasury combined, there is still double the amount of what is needed to be paid out. This is a very good sign for the platform because it does show that it is sustainable. The fact that the platform has been operating in normal market conditions for the last several months and has already generated almost double what it needs to pay out all of its debts to investors is a very good sign. It does show that in its current state, the platform is sustainable and does have potential to remain sustainable for a very long period of time. As Stampede bonding catches and more people deposit trunk, more elephant will be deposited in the elephant treasury, which in turn will start to receive more reflections from the buying and selling of elephant token. If you would like to see a video about exactly how the protocol works, or if you're ready to invest in elephant money, check out the videos in the top right corner. If you would like to support the channel in a way other than subscribing, I would absolutely love to have you on my Elephant Money team. I will leave my buddy address in the description of this video. Just copy it, paste it into the partner input, click update, and confirm the transaction. If you do that, please make sure you join my Telegram group so you can be included in the airdrop contests that I do specifically for my team. Thank you so much for watching. Farewell till next time.